Hare Krishna. Welcome to our channel Droplets of Nectar. Our today's topic is works of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Now, firstly, we will recite the Pranam mantra of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Sachidanandanamine Gaur Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod, who is the transcendental energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis headed by Srila Rup Goswami. In this video, we will see what Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur contributed in our parampara. So before starting this video, please like, share, subscribe to our channel and see more such videos related to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur in this channel. The efforts of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur to re-establish the pure form of Gaudiya Vaishnavism can be better appreciated if something is said about the prevailing and generally opposing currents of thought espoused by the ruling Britishers, the so-called Indian intellects at that time. So, at that time, Britishers always piled abuse and invective on Vedic thought and scriptures in ill-conceived and misinformed attacks. In 1838, the year of Thakur Bhakti Vinod's birth, there was some debate on India's Supreme Ruling Council, chaired by Lord Bentinck, as to the value of teaching Sanskrit and India's classical literatures, as well as regional languages, in schools to be established by British for the education of Indian people. A few members of the council were mildly in favor of it, but the elegantly expressed, fully ethnocentric and Philistine view of Thomas Maclay prevailed. In his Education Minute, Maclay wrote to that he could not find one Orientalist who could deny the single shelf of a good European library was worth the whole native literature of India and Arabia. In this way, the Maclay actually denegated the authority of Indian languages. He presented how English literatures are far more superior than our Indian literatures. He wrote that all that has been collected from all the books written in Sanskrit language is less valuable than that may be found in the very preparatory school level in England. So he presented how English literatures are very higher than the primitive Indian literatures. Every text, every circumstance that makes against Hindu character is most assiduously cited, and everything in its favor as carefully kept out of sight. Very scrutinizingly, English literatures were brought forward, and Sanskrit literatures, Indian literatures were put at the background level. Dr. Tytler wrote, "The histories of Buddha, Salvahana and Krishna comprise nothing more than perverted copies of Christianity, and the British missionaries were especially disturbed by the temple idols, particularly those at Jagannath Puri." Once Dr. George wrote, "The whole history of this famous god Krishna is one of lust, robbery, deceit and murder. The history of the whole hierarchy of Hinduism is one of shameful iniquity, too vile to be described." Hence, in many writings and many biographies, in many books, in many ways, they were just trying to degenerate and demodify the Indian culture and promote their culture in our countries. Thus, with regard to the rulers of the day, their opinions were certainly not helpful towards a renaissance of Vaishnavism. nor supportive of the publication of these important literatures and the excellently articulated views of propounders of Vaishnava thought, the situation was compounded in the course of time by Indian intellectuals who were trained in the schools established by Britishers, and hence they also were always propounding the British literatures. And slowly Indian men also started following British literatures. They just disregarded our Purans, Upanishads and all. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, a famous Bengali philosopher who borrowed electrically from the doctrines of a number of Western thinkers and from Christianity, he created a belief system called Brahmoism, and he emphasized what he considered a rationalistic view of Vedic scriptures. Raja Ram Mohan Roy rejected Gaudiya Vaishnavism and was critical of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Raja Ram Mohan Roy tried to subvert Hinduism and disseminate purer and more elevated notions of religion and morality. Raja Ram Mohan Roy were simply mental speculations. He wrote many such speculations of no particular redeeming value and misdirected the foolish theories of Vedic culture and philosophies. The young Bengal, which was steeped in the ways of British, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had to contend mightily with the awful effects of such theorizing. The last great obstacle confronted by the Thakur was the widespread acceptance of the doctrines of numerous deviant Sahajiyas or pseudo-devotee groups, which it has sprung up after the disappearance of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his principal followers. Some of the major Sahajiyas were ones who followed, or you can say espoused, various sentimental versions of the Gaudiya Vaishnava doctrines, in which mundane physical sensuality amongst its members were equalized. They completely rejected the transcendental conjugal affairs of Radha Krishna. Some Sahajiyas mixed the Islam with Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Some Sahajiyas smoked ganjas and had illicit sexual intercourse. Some Sahajiyas took advantage of the sentimental people for material gains. A group of publishers called Bartalas, they just popularized the apocryphal literatures of many of these bogus groups by publishing and disseminating them widely in the villages. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur very strongly contended to it, and his struggle to establish the pure and original teachings of Gaudiya Vaishnavism was very much appreciated. He published many journals about Vaishnavism. His famous one was Sajjana Toshani. He organized door-to-door preaching in the villages. He publicized the authentic philosophical works of 6 Goswamis and their followers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's discovery and establishment of Sri Chaitanya's birthplace as the principal place of pilgrimage in all of Bengal. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also instructed and educated many followers, including his son Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who successfully disseminated his father's mission all over India and other parts of the world. He was enormously successful. In his youth, Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to close contact with Dwijendranath Tagore. His eldest son was Devendranath Tagore. And slowly the Vaishnava Sabha appointed 3 Gaudiya Vaishnava preachers named Bipin Bihari Goswami, Mahendranath Goswami, Hari Gopal Goswami, and they truly worked in the districts of Bengal. Later his son Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur took over and expanded his preaching, and then Srila Prabhupada did remarkable job as opening of ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and spreading Vaishnavism in the whole world, thus instrumentally fulfilling the most ardent desire of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and rejecting all such false ideas and preaching the widespread glories of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Later we will continue in the next episode. Hare Krishna.